As a driven dentist, you see the world differently. Where some see scarcity, you see abundance. When others want to give up, you keep going. You're building an amazing life of significance. That means you can't rely on ordinary advice from ordinary advisors to get to your goals. You want advice that's going to help maximize your net worth so you can take even better care of the people you love, the causes you care about, and make your dent in the universe. But the fact is, this advice remains hidden because relatively few professionals are well versed in them, and the extremely affluent don't care to let you know about them. Join us as we pull back the curtain to reveal the often hidden advice and strategies used by today's most successful individuals and families. Welcome to Dental Wealth Nation. Here's your host, Tim McNeely.
Hey, welcome everyone to another exciting episode of the Dental Wealth Nation show. And I'm so excited that you are here today. And as a dentist, as a business owner, someone in charge of your practice, I believe there's nothing more important than you staying in control of your patients and offering the clinical care that they deserve. And that's why today I'm so excited, is by the time we finish, you're going to know why there's a better way to treat your patients with confidence and improve the cash flow of your business. You're going to have an understanding why having a process for providing clear aligners in your practice is so important. But importantly of all, you're going to feel excited about the opportunity to better the lives of your patients and get paid while doing it. And to help you do that today, we have Kevin Dillard. Kevin is the CEO and founder of Clear Blue Smiles. And Kevin has really spent his entire career in orthodontics. And what I love about Kevin is he has a passion for making sure that you as the doctor stay in control of patient care and that you are front and center and really protecting that integrity that you have with your patients. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim. I'm happy to be here.
Oh man, I couldn't think of a more important topic than diving into today, which is really protecting the doctors and the patients and serving patients well. But before we dive into that, would you give us a little bit of a background of who you are and how you got started and why Clear Blue Smiles?
Yeah, well, so I started my career in 2001 at the American Association of Orthodontists. First few years, government affairs, going to DC, going to dental boards around states, advocating for orthodontists. If you recall, that's a couple of years after Invisalign began, and that was sort of like the first big revolution in the modern era of orthodontics. And I became general counsel in 2010, 2011, and finished my career there as a general counsel. The last 10, 12 years I was there, I was either associate general counsel or general counsel. The last year I was there, I was interim executive director when we were undergoing a transition. But the last several years of my career there were spent advocating before state dental boards, even in Congress, regarding some of the newer trends of ortho, which was, of course, Smile Direct Club. And then, of course, later on Bite and some of the other direct-to-consumer companies. And I left the AAO, partnered up with a couple of very traditional orthodontists. We all three had the same idea. That there is something that Smile Direct Club was getting right, which is that there's an appetite for lower cost ortho, and you can do a lot of clear aligners remotely. What they got wrong was cutting the doctor out of any kind of meaningful relationship between the doctor and the patient out of the process. And we came at Clear Blue Smiles with the kind of fundamental ideology that having a doctor-patient relationship at the beginning of treatment is vitally important to the success, to the outcome of what the patient wants and what the doctor is obligated to provide, which is top quality healthcare. And so we require complete diagnostics on every single patient that we help those doctors treat, and we drive those patients to them. And so we're taking the best of the new technology that's allowing remote monitoring, along with the best ideology of traditional orthodontics, and saying, we have the experts to help you, and that expertise needs to be between the doctor and the patient. That cannot be replaced. And so we've created a sort of a company that fits that mold in the market. It's not a cash grab. We're not selling a bunch of mold kits to patients online, hoping that they get it right when they send it in and then treating remotely. No, we're saying you got to go to a doctor, and we can help that doctor be profitable and treat patients the way they deserve to be treated, in the way the doctor, quite frankly, has an ethical obligation to treat.
Well, now, in this whole world of dentistry, right, dentists are bombarded all the time with, you should add this to your practice, or considering doing this, or considering treating that, or consider adding this. Like why clear aligners? Why does this matter so much? And really, why should doctors really look at adding this to their practice, or at least analyzing if they're doing it well?
Yeah, well, if you're looking at it from a business perspective, you see studies. I can point you to studies that show just an enormous appetite and growth in the clear aligner industry. But what I think a lot of folks maybe overlook or get wrong is that they understand that to mean it's just about aesthetics. And I think patients often think aesthetically. They think, I just want my teeth to be straighter. I want this gap closed. I want my bottom teeth to look better, or whatever the case may be. And clear aligners are often a fantastic treatment option to treat the aesthetics. What the dentists know, they should know, is that there's a bigger, broader underlying issue there, when it's not just the aesthetics, it's actually the occlusion. And huge percentage of people in the United States worldwide have occlusal disease, meaning their bite, it doesn't fit quite right. And if the bite doesn't fit quite right and you don't treat that, then almost any other thing that happens is it's going to generally over time degrade their oral health. They're going to get uneven wear. They're going to get TMJ issues. If they want veneers, the veneers are going to pop off after a few years because their bite's not quite right. So clear aligners are a great, fantastic way to treat that underlying occlusal disease, to give patients a better oral health for quite frankly, a lifetime. So there's the business opportunity of driving more business, keeping it in-house if you're a general dentist and not referring it out to an orthodontist. And being able to price compete, quite frankly, and give your patients a great price, while being able to have your expertise and draw on a huge well of orthodontic experts that my company has on staff to be able to help you treat those patients.
Now, right, it all sounds well and good, and sounds like an easy process, but what are some common pitfalls that you've seen, and what should doctors really consider avoiding if they're thinking about adding clear aligners? Or once again, if you are adding clear aligners to your practice now, what are some common pitfalls that you typically see?
Yeah, well, I'll take my company out of the mix for just a second, because this does play into the story. When I was at the AAO, and then later working with private practice orthodontists and dentists, the same things kept coming up. And this is true for both orthodontists and general dentists, who are the two main cohorts who are prescribing orthodontic treatment. And I would throw pediatric dentists into that mix as well. It's financing, it's the lab fees. They're huge lab fees. A lot of clear aligner companies charge upwards of $1,800 for just the clear aligner. So the moment a doctor prescribes a clear aligner to a patient, they're paying upfront $1,800, $2,000. And they're going to be a while before they start to see a profit on that patient, assuming the patient pays. There's time. A lot of general dentists aren't used to, their business model isn't meant. It's not set up to have those recurring office visits. Their hygienists and dental assistants aren't necessarily familiar with ortho if they're in a general dental practice. Then they have patient issues, patient selection issues. They don't know exactly what patient to select. And if they do select them and the patient wants to move forward, they don't know exactly the best way to treat. All of those sort of roadblocks, pitfalls, pain points, if you want to call it that, we designed our company to solve all of those pain points for anybody who's prescribing ortho, including orthodontists and general dentists. But you're right. You allude to the fact that there are a lot of companies out there who are trying to get dentists under contract, make exclusive agreements, having them augment their D2C business by sending them patients and paying them for diagnostics or whatever. And I think my advice to dentists in any of that is, you need to look out for yourself. You have to protect your reputation. You're a pillar in your community. You're a community leader. People look to you. You're a doctor. They're expecting you to provide the treatment that is best for them, whether that's clear aligners or not. And a lot of companies out there just put everybody in the same box, and they just want to drive revenue, and they want to use your practice to drive the revenue. And I would argue that's certainly not good business for you. And it's probably even unethical in many times if you're putting everybody into that same box.
Wow. Very, very powerful. No, thank you for that explanation. Super, super powerful. And right, when it comes to really, that convenient, cost-effective, doctor-driven treatment, that's one thing that you're kind of doing differently. Talk to me a little bit about that, right? Doctor-driven treatment.
Yeah, from the very beginning, the foundation of our company was built upon, my two main partners are two very traditional orthodontists, like I mentioned earlier. And a foundation of our company was that we are creating this company in order to protect the integrity of the dental professional in the treatment process. We just do not think that it is ethically, morally right to treat patients entirely remotely without ever seeing them and without ever getting diagnostics taken. So that's why we created this, to say there is a way that you can compete. There is a way to take away those pain points. You have to see that patient at the beginning, and we can help you select the patients. We have a patient acquisition process on our website that can drive patients to you. We work with them on financing, so you don't have to be the one being the bad guy to track down bad debt. That's on us and our third-party providers. And, you shouldn't be labored, I suppose, in your practice with a thought that if I prescribe this patient, or if I prescribe 10 patients a month with clear aligners, I'm in a cash crunch. Because all of a sudden, if I prescribe 10 clear aligners a month, I'm out $20,000 right there, without even getting the income coming in. So you might be then less inclined to do what's in the best interest of the patient. So our process is entirely about increasing your profitability and your cash flow by saying, we take care of your lab fees. There's $0 out of pocket. There's no quotas. There's no exclusivities. You can sign up in our network and you get the benefits of what we can provide to you. And for, when patients are driven to your office, they're paying no more than $4,880 for the treatment we help to administer through you, and you get your profit right up front without ever having cash out of pocket. So wow. We think that's best for everybody. It's best for the dentist, because then they're not burdened with thinking, am I doing the right thing here for my business if I prescribe these clear aligners, because I'm going in debt right out of the gate. Yeah. And I'm not sure if I can handle these patients, and I don't know if they're going to be profitable. We can answer that. Wow. You can handle them, and it can be profitable.
Amazing. Wow. What a neat model you've built out. And it really sounds like, right, it's been built by studying and knowing the industry and seeing the pain points that are out there. And, there is a lot of this direct to consumer dentistry out there too. And right, it seems to take off because of the convenience of it. And so what are some of the primary dangers, both for the patients and the dentist, when it comes to direct to consumer dentistry?
Yeah, well, if we're defining direct-to-consumer dentistry, and I think that we are, it's how it's been traditionally defined, is treating off nothing more than a mold that's mailed to you. The patient goes on, pays $29.95 on a special, gets a mold, they mix it up in their kitchen or whatever, and then the treatment is designed remotely by a dentist, supposedly, and then they don't ever have any contact with a dentist. Well, the risk to the patient there is. And I think most dentists, orthodontists would know that even those molds, those alginate molds that are done in an office, typically have about a 10% failure. Something's not going to go right. They're going to be taken out too soon, too late. Something's going to wiggle. It's not going to give a precision. And you need precision when you're prescribing clear aligners or any orthodontics. So there's a risk that it's not going to be precise. The bigger risk is that there is literally no way, and I will say this until the day I die, because it's just the absolute truth. I said this when I was at the AO. I've been saying the same thing for the last 10 years. Without radiographs, without an x-ray, there is no way to know if the patient's roots are healthy enough to support any tooth movement at all, any tooth movement, because you don't know what's under those gums. And if you start pushing around in those teeth and exerting force on them without knowing what those roots look like, there's a good chance you're going to have root protrusion, you're going to have dead teeth, you're going to have lost teeth. And in fact, that's happened if you look at dental board complaints with some of these companies. So, the risk to the patient is huge. I mean, they could lose teeth. A lot of the companies have required them to sign an NDA, and they can't sue them. And I think Smile Direct Club got nailed for that before they went out of business last year. The risk to the dentist in being involved in this process, I mean, as a lawyer, I can't, and I said this to members when I was at the AO. who would call me and say, "What do you think about this?" This is exactly what I said. I'd say, I would never consider that. If I'm in your shoes, I'm not in your shoes, so I can't tell you exactly what to do, but I can tell you that the legal risks to prescribing any kind of healthcare to a patient, dental healthcare to a patient without actually seeing them and evaluating them in person is just a huge risk, because your name's on that treatment. And if you're putting your name on a treatment to a patient you have never seen and never evaluated, it is very one dimensional. And I used to analogize it to saying it would be the equivalent of a nutritionist or a dietitian designing a diet for someone based upon nothing more than their current weight and their desired goal weight. Well, that's one factor. It's a one-dimensional factor, right? I understand where you are and where you want to go, but do you have food allergies? Do you have food restrictions? Do you have religious restrictions? Are you male, female? I mean, any number of things, right, affect that evaluation. And doing the D2C dentistry is the dental equivalent of just one-dimensional. I'd call it knockoff healthcare.
Yeah, wow. Well, and what are some ways that the doctors can help educate their patients on those dangers, right? What are some easy, simple ways that the doctors can really, like I said, help them understand? Because I know I struggle with this in my industry, right? It's how do we differentiate ourselves and really rescue our patients and our clients from making bad choices?
Mm-hmm. And here's kind of the sad thing, actually, because if you're looking at the market in total, the vast majority of patients who have an established dentist and who go to the dentist are very unlikely to go with the D2C model, because they already understand fundamentally the importance of going to the dentist. Now, I mean, the ADA, American Dental Association, has done a phenomenal job, in my opinion, of giving their member dentists tools, resources to educate their patients about the importance of seeing a dentist before undergoing any kind of tooth movement like that. Social media is out there. Patients can view that kind of thing. The unfortunate thing is a lot of, I think, the D2C patients are coming from a patient base that doesn't have a dentist. And they see the $2,000 price tag and they think, oh, this is great. They see a social media and they're like, this is fantastic. My teeth could be perfect in 6 months and I never have to see a dentist, and it's only $2,000. Why would I ever go spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 when I can do it for $2,000? And I would even say that, it's borderline false advertising. It's preying on an audience that doesn't understand the risks and doesn't really have the opportunity to talk to a professional to understand the risks of that.
Wow. Okay. So now, do you think your background in, the American Association of Orthodontists has really helped influence your approach to what you're doing here at Clear Blue Smiles? And how has that background influenced what you're putting together?
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, for the 18 years is a long time to spend at a company. But, in that time, I worked at every single level of the AAO, working with orthodontists, geniuses, worldwide, really, talking to some of the greatest minds in ortho. And, the criticism that I have with a lot of the trade associations is they have an agenda. They're trying to protect their members, and they sometimes move very slowly. They're all a bureaucracy. They move slowly. I think they move a little bit too slowly when it comes to adopting new trends. And I think it was for a very long time, it was like an all or nothing kind of approach to the direct to consumer. And for a long time, and I think it's eased off of this in the past year or two, where it used to be, there is, no substitute whatsoever for seeing a patient in person on the beginning and then every 6 weeks throughout, or every 8 weeks, or every 4 weeks. There's just no substitute to that, which is just wrong. I fundamentally disagree with that because of the technology. Now, 10 years ago, I would agree with it because the technology wasn't there to monitor it. But having the understanding of the orthodontic practice, the way they think, and particularly the value of their expertise, and understanding that without their expertise in person, evaluating a patient and doing what's in the best interest of the patient, again, that may not be clear aligners. It may be nothing at all. That influenced fundamentally how we created this company to protect the integrity of the professional in the process.
Well, and that even comes into some of what you've done with the patient management system that you have too. Could you talk a little bit about the self-contained patient management system that you have and how that works with the doctors and the patients?
Yeah, one of the things, I mean, this is one of those, it took us a while to develop. We worked with a software company out of Little Rock. It's mostly an ortho called Grayfinch. It's a fantastic company, fantastic PMS system for orthodontists, but we customized an app where the doctors who are in our network can bucket all of their Clear Blue Smiles patients in that practice management system. And that is there's an app that patients download once they're a patient of their doctor via Clear Blue Smiles, where they can text the doctor back and forth. It sends push reminders for virtual follow-ups. That's one of the things. That's another thing, by the way, that I followed through with knowledge from the AO is that when a patient signs a contract with their doctor through us, they are required, they're contractually bound to do virtual follow-ups on a regular basis, because it's not just diagnostics, it is the follow-up appointments. Now, we can eliminate a lot of the in-person, but they have got to do the virtual appointments, because if they don't do the virtual appointments, it's just like having a patient who never shows up for follow-up appointments. At some point, you're going to have to terminate that patient because it's your name on that patient. And you don't want to have patients out there with your aligners, your brackets, if you're doing traditional wire and brackets, for months on end without terminating them if you don't know what kind of condition they're in. So our contained app reminds the patient on virtual appointments, so they can go in and take a video of their teeth that their doctor or our experts on our end can take a look at and see if any adjustments are needed, or if they need refinement here and there, or
Wow.
as the case mostly is go on to the next set of aligners.
And so do you find that this mobile app actually helps to enhance the treatment experience and outcomes? And was that part of the thought behind it, was to really make this easy on the patients?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things the Smile Direct Club got right is that patients don't necessarily want to go to the dentist every 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And that's been the model for, the last 120 years in ortho, is that you recall them in every 6 weeks. Until clear aligners came along, you had to, because obviously wires and brackets take physical manipulation in order to adjust. Clear aligners don't. It's automatic. Every 2 weeks or every week, or whatever the prescription is, the aligners get traded out. And I'll tell you, Tim, I believe in our system so much that my now 13-year-old son is actually using our system. And we are, we're seeing it on our end as busy parents. My oldest son, who's now 21, something like this wasn't available. Even my 17-year-old son had traditional brackets and wires years ago, and it's a hassle. And I think most parents, most busy adults who are need ortho or in ortho, they don't want to go. They don't want to take time off work. They don't want to take their kids out of school and go to the ortho. If there's an easy way to monitor it on their cell phone and know that they're getting the same level quality of treatment as if they were going into an office, I think 99 people out of 100 would prefer to do it on their own schedule at home, taking about 2 minutes to take a video of their teeth, as opposed to driving to an office.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to dive in here and talk about really kind of two sets of doctors here. And I want to first address the practice. You may not be offering clear aligners, but you're thinking about getting into this. You want to start looking at the different companies that are out there. What are the questions the doctor should really be asking to the different companies that they're talking to? Because it seems like there's a lot of these companies popping up. So how do we actually look at them and analyze them to figure out who's right for our practice?
Yeah, well, first of all, there's a top line, the easy one. How much does it cost? And that's hard to actually find, because the aligner companies don't really advertise that, because they'll have tiered pricing and say, the dentist next door might be getting a better deal than you are, because for whatever reason, incentive that they signed up on. We're very transparent about the prices that we charge. We use SureSmile exclusively, which leads into the second thing, past price. Actually, the first thing they should ask is it a good quality product? Is it going to meet the needs of my patient base? And I think we're getting to the time, I think maybe in the dental industry, where the difference in quality between the best and the worst, or maybe the average, is a lot less than it used to be. There's also a technology aspect. How easy is a technology to navigate? How easy is it to be able to diagnose a patient and be able to set up their treatment? how much burden is it going to be on my staff? Can I integrate it into my workflow seamlessly? Those are all things I need to ask. Also, what kind of guarantees do they have on the products? Are you getting, is a price that you're paying just for the first set of aligners, and does it cover refinements? Some of them don't. What kind of financing do they offer? Do they require upfront payments, which they most of the time do? Like I mentioned earlier. So as soon as you prescribe aligners to a patient, you're out $1,800, $2,000, whatever the case may be. So all of those things are relevant for a dentist to evaluate. I'm confident our company has created the solution for all of that. I mean, SureSmile aligners are universally recognized as some of the best on the market, if not the best. The technology, the software is fantastic. Our orthodontists that I work with are SureSmile experts. They have been for decades. And our pricing, we actually, a brand new doctor coming into Clear Blue Smiles Network, again, it doesn't cost anything to sign up. You can buy SureSmile clear aligners for probably less than what you can get it on the market from a local rep. And we couple that with their V-Pro device, which is a high frequency vibration that helps the teeth be more comfortable and move more quickly. We pair that also with the expert orthodontic advice. So if you need some help setting it up, if you need some help along the way and you have a question, it's all included in a price that's again less than what you probably are paying for just the aligners. And we're on a 30-day net, so
Wow.
You don't have to pay for 30 days. That helps the cash flow. That's one of our programs, by the way. That's Blue Assist, what we call Blue Assist.
So let's say you're a doctor and you are running clear aligners in your practice, right? What are some ways that you can really measure the success of that program and the ROI? Are there some key metrics or KPIs that doctors who are analyzing what they have now and if they could improve it, are there some things they should be looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I mean, there's a cost issue and the cash flow issue. And I think a lot of dentists, when we talk to them on the phone, trade shows, wherever we meet them, and they start digging into our business model, one of the first questions they ask is, well, wait a minute, I'm charging $6,500 for a clear aligner case for my patient. And after I pay the aligners and after I pay all of, after I pay the aligners, my profit's, $3,500. And I'm like, no, I respect your math on that, but you're not adding up everything that you need to be adding up, because there's chair time that you're losing if you're not doing any kind of remote monitoring. If you are doing remote monitoring, what's the cost of that? Because that gets expensive fast. What are the cost of refinements? What's your cost of financing? Because if you're financing those patients, you're probably paying a pretty hefty fee to finance them. Not to mention the lost profit potential of the money that you're laying out for those aligners up front, and then not getting paid on it probably, and getting in the black on that patient until month 8 or 9. So a lot of considerations go into that. I think nationally, what we found, what a lot of studies find, is that a dentist and orthodontist on a patient who they're charging about $6,000, $6,500 for a clear aligner, their actual end-of-day profit, what the practice actually takes home after they take over all of the less than obvious things like the lab fee, is usually like around $1,800, $1,900. And our immediate reimbursement, our profit share back to the dentist, actually shouldn't say profit share, their share of the profit of the things, of the patients that we help them treat is more than that. It's over $2,000.
Wow.
And it comes in immediately. So it's a better cash flow position for the dentist. So, like I mentioned earlier, a dentist who's in a traditional kind of clear aligner system, and they charge or they start 10 clear aligner patients, they're in debt almost immediately, $20,000. With us, they've got immediate profit of over $20,000 without the risk of financing, without the risk of the cost of refinements and all of that.
Wow. And with this, what are some resources that you have for the doctors to really make sure that the program is successful if this is something they launch in their office?
Well, first of all, our experts. So, I mean, we have 2 orthodontic experts on that are my co-founders, Doctors Brian Gaudreau and Bill Crutchfield, longtime orthodontist experts, SureSmile experts. We also have on our team Dr. Doug Voyers, who's a general dentist in Ohio. And his intellectual property around the destructive malocclusion and being able to help patients, help to diagnose patients with destructive malocclusion and walking them through the issues that they'll face if they don't treat the underlying cause of the occlusal disease. That's invaluable knowledge, and that comes with our program. That knowledge and his help comes in. So, typically when we onboard a dentist, based upon what their knowledge is and what their expertise is, we give them everything. I mean, we fly in. They have the benefit of talking to our experts. They have the benefit of talking to Dr. Voyers and understanding how the process he designed, he implemented in his own practice, and has treated thousands of patients in a general dental practice by walking them through, here's the underlying disease, here's what we need to treat, and here's how we can treat it. And that's sort of the clinical part of it. The business part is then on the other end, you're increasing your clear aligner starts, and you're doing so in a profitable way for you, a pain-free way. So you're helping your patients get better oral health, better occlusal fit, and at the same time, you're helping the health of your practice financially.
Wow. Amazing, Kevin. I mean, this is so neat, right? This is innovation right here. I love that you've taken your 18 years of knowledge of serving the American Association of Orthodontics and really that legal background and really listening to the doctors who are out there and solving these problems. I mean, this is entrepreneurship at its best. It's listening to the market and really delivering a solution. So I'm just so grateful for you sharing all this with our audience. And if someone wants to get in touch with you in Clear Blue Smiles and explore if this is right for them, if they're adding it for the first time, or if they've got an existing program, they're like, hey, can we be doing something better? How can we get in touch with you?
Our website, clearbluesmiles.com. There's a link there for providers. If you want to go directly to that, it's providers.clearbluesmiles.com. You can fill out a intake form. Again, no cost to join our network. It is completely free. You can talk to me. You can talk to one of my founders, and we can kind of walk you through your clear aligner program, if you have one now, how we can help. And I almost guarantee you that we can help. We can make it better in some way. Wow. Or if you don't have a clear aligner program, how we can help you get one started.
I love that. And so any closing thoughts for us here, Kevin, before we sign off?
You know what? I think the closing thought here is, if you're a dentist, if you're an orthodontist, jealously guard your integrity in the process of treating patients. Don't ever get drawn in by a company promising you the world, promising you cheap, easy leads, if there's a trade-off of your ethics or integrity or treatment on the back end. Because there's a lot of those companies out there who are trying to profit and make a cash grab off you. I mean, we're just, the fundamental aspect of our company is helping the doctors be the best doctor they can be, and making your practice better and more profitable, and helping patients in the process, which is what dentists went into dental school to do.
Yeah, so true. Well, hey, Kevin, thank you for once again sharing so generously with us. I know I certainly have a better understanding of the clear aligner market and some of the pros and the cons, and really how to think about this as a holistic treatment program. And what you just mentioned, I think protecting your integrity as a doctor is the most important thing you can do. You don't want anyone else coming between your relationship with your patients.
100%.
So, all right. Well, hey, thank you again. And we'll see everyone here soon on the Dental Wealth Nation show.
All right. Thank you.
You've been listening to Dental Wealth Nation. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. Join us next time as we pull back the curtain to reveal the often hidden advice and strategies used by today's most successful individuals and families, and help maximize your net worth so you can take even better care of the people you love. Till next time, make sure to hit the website at dentalwealthnation.com.